Right, great, excellent. We are all here. We are all live, coming to you this week. Our potpourri of football topics, sprinkled with a hint of blue cheese. I'm your host, Jono, all the way from New Jersey. And over across on the river in New York City is the good captain. Captain, say hello to the folks.
Hello!
Excellent, good stuff. We're going to bypass the Carolinas for now because the good doctor is in surgery. And we're going to head down to Florida. Hurricane, I don't know which one it is now. I think they've gone through almost half the Greek alphabet. They've gone through the Western alphabet. They're in the Greek alphabet at this moment. And it just keeps on getting worse and worse. But our man, Reef, all the way down in Fort Lauderdale, we haven't got the visuals of him, but we got him on audio. So Reef, say hi to the good folks.
Hello, everybody.
How are you managing?
Still doing good. Flooding, but doing good.
Excellent, good stuff. All right, guys, we'll jump into it. I'll give a quick review of the league. We're in the international break, so I'll give a quick review of the leagues. And then we've taken all our guests' questions, all right? We're taking a bunch of questions from you, the guest. You know you can see us on YouTube at A Hint of Blue Cheese, all right? And then we also, on Yahoo, email us the questions which you have done, and we appreciate it, at bluecheese1905@yahoo.com. That's bluecheese1905@yahoo.com. And then check us out on our podcast. Give us a like and subscribe. We're on YouTube at A Hint of Blue Cheese. All right, and that's the title of this thing, A Hint of Blue Cheese. All right, folks, let me give you a quick roundup. The Bundesliga. I don't know if any of you guys saw it, and I do apologize. I didn't mention this last week that it was the Classico between Bayern and Dortmund. Unfortunately, yeah, and it's our fault. I mean, we're privileged over here in the States. We can get to see football from anywhere we want, from Uruguay all the way to, say, South Korea, the K-League in South Korea, if we wanted to see it somewhere along the way. And lo and behold, because I wasn't on the regular channels, I missed the Bundesliga, Bayern versus Dortmund. I got the highlights and all of the game and saw all of it out. It ended up being 3-2. My team Dortmund lost. The machine of Bayern keeps on marching on, and it's on top of the Bundesliga. All right, there we go. Serie A at this moment, AC Milan, the legendary club, is still undefeated in the league and is sitting on top quite comfortably. In France, Ligue 1, PSG at this moment is running away with it as usual. It's business as usual. They're 5 points difference between themselves and Lille in the second place, and they're top of the league. They may not be doing well anywhere else, but in Ligue 1, it's another, almost like you can read it, another guarantee for PSG. All right. The the La Liga in Spain, it's a bit different. Real Sociedad is still tearing it up with the last 5 games, wins in the last 5 games, sitting right on top there. And it's beginning to remind me a little bit, just a little bit, like 2016 Leicester City at this moment. Sociedad looks like a fairy tale team sitting there. Everybody keeps on saying, well, Atletico, if the big two don't win it, Atletico is going to win it, blah, blah. But Real Sociedad is still there on top of the league, running things. Simple as that. And talk about Leicester City. Leicester City at this current moment are sitting on top of the Premier League. The Premier League is like, is the best league of all the 5 great big leagues in Europe. It really gives the concept of like, at this moment, any given Sunday. One stage, Southampton were on top. First it was Liverpool, then Southampton, then Tottenham Hotspur, and now it's Leicester City in the space of a weekend. That's how dramatic it's going at this moment in the Premier League. Now, just before I go on to finish the Premier League, I want to put something down here, a marker. I'm also be checking up on the EPL, right, the Championship. Right now, Reading are on top of the Championship. But surprise, surprise, the next 3 teams, and it very rarely happens this way, are Watford, Norwich, and Bournemouth. The exact three team that those that went down the year before. It's very rare. Usually you get one, two, maybe one will come back, or maybe two will come back, and one will start sinking all the way down. But currently, sitting right now in second, third, and fourth in the championship are Watford, Norwich, and Bournemouth, doing themselves all right for the possibility of bouncing back to the Premier League. Straight up. All right, so that's a roundup of the leagues, guys. Let's go to our questions from our guests and our listeners. We really appreciate you. All right, so lads, here's the first question. How shell-shocked was Man City in the first 15 minutes of that game against Liverpool? Schiff, how say you?
I mean, Klopp came out with a formation not seen since the early 1900s. It was like a 4-2-4 nearly. You know, you had four attacking players, the two holding midfielders, and you had four across the back. It was a really interesting and unexpected thing that he set out there, right? So Man City took a while to get into it, to figure it out, but then they adjusted, and I don't think you can shock a team like that too often and not for too long, but Klopp did it with a very interesting old school formation.
Yeah, he did. Reef, how surprised were you that Kevin De Bruyne missed the penalty, man, right in the second half, 2-1?
I'm really surprised because, honestly, I don't have him on my fantasy football, but I'm really surprised that he's missed because I think it was the first time that De Bruyne really missed the PK. And that I saw him play. Yeah, and that was very whoa, it was very surprised for me.
Did you notice, Shift, a lot of injuries have been happening this season, and particularly once again, another major injury happened, this one to Trent Alexander. And the talk is of bringing back 5 subs or wanting to bring 5 subs back. How say you to this?
So, and by the way, Gomez got injured today too. So, we're going to be training. In training. So we're going to see Milner in that back four very, very soon. But when it comes to the 5 subs, yes, I think the 5 subs make sense. But the guy from Crystal Palace, I forget, Townsend, had a call in at a show, and he made a really interesting point. He's like, they're asking for 5 subs, but they didn't use their 5 subs against each other. They didn't. Man City didn't use it. Liverpool didn't use it. And in the big games, they never used their 5 subs. They barely use 1 or 2. They want the 5 subs so that the bigger teams can bring off from the bench better players to break down smaller teams.
But how is that helping the Premier League? If La Liga, if all the other European leagues are using 5 and rotating their players as much as they can, or have the option of doing that, and when it gets to the Champions League games and that they're using that, why are not the Premier League putting themselves in advantage, especially when the Premier League are notorious for a very busy schedule? So,
I think there should be 5, but I think we should listen to the smaller clubs too. This, when Man City can bring on as their 5th sub Bernardo Silva, is it real? It's already an unfair playing field between the big teams and the small teams, right? And the small teams' 5th, their 5th player to bring on will be the reserve goalie or something. Like, they just don't have the depth. They don't have the player quality that the bigger teams do. And having more subs is a disadvantage. While I think for the injuries, it is true, Premier League should have 5 subs, but it kind of distorts the playing field a little bit more for the smaller clubs. And I get that's what Townsend was saying, and I get his point.
All right, then Reef, isn't it time that the big clubs separate themselves and make their own division away from the smaller clubs? That's the thing. Hey, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Shiv. Go ahead, Reef. I'll say you to this.
We discussed about it the last time about what you're saying about the bigger team to separate themselves. I don't like that. like Shiv say, like they're not using all 5 sub. You know, I in my point, yes, I understand what you're saying about 5 sub to rotate the team. Absolutely understand. But in my point of view, like it worked with 3 for so long, and is smooth through. So why to change something is not broken?
Yeah, but look, we could have said that back in the day when I was growing up, etc., and so forth. It was just one. So why are we now bummed out of a place when it's 5 or 3 or 2? It was 1, and they all managed.
But 1 second. But in 1, you bring to rotate the team from 11 players on the field, or if we separate the keeper from the rest of the play, from 10 players, you change 1. In changing 3, you can change a lot more. You can change a midfielder, you can change 2 defenders, you can change a striker.
If you change 5, you can change half of your team at half time, what Manchester United would do.
True. True, but if I have the choice to do, I never choose 1 because it's too weak to change 1. But I will choose 3 on 5. My point of view.
All right. Let me throw something else at you regarding the City thing, gentlemen. Who I was going to say show of hands, but we can't see Reef at this moment. All right. Let me just throw it to you up here. Who believes Man City have now turned into a one-man team? And to be honest, if Kevin De Bruyne is not on his thing, it's not happening. It has turned into a one-man team. How say you to that quickly, Shiv?
I mean, I don't think they're still a one-man thing. I think Sterling's still tremendous. If Aguero is playing, he's still tremendous. They still have the quality, yes. Aguero's been injured for far too long. So De Bruyne has to carry a lot of the weight, and Sterling is only effective if he has support. But they still are a good team, even without Kevin.
Okay, let me throw this to Reef then. How say you that without Kevin, that Man City aren't Jack, to put it politely? How about that, Reef?
It's so difficult to say that Kevin De Bruyne is like the one-man team. It's very hard to say that. You can say it on Aguero about 2 or 3 seasons ago. It's very hard to say that, but is there a lot in what you're saying that is correct, because he has really carried the team forward, and it's kind of like catch-22. You cannot say it, and you cannot not say it. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in a limbo with that to say yes or no.
Okay, fair enough. With that in place, let's look at Martin Four Eyes sent a question. The second question, Martin Four Eyes said, will Pep be Man City's manager at the end of the season? How say you to that, Reef?
Yes, 100% yes.
Really?
Yeah, I still believe Pep Guardiola maintained to be with City. I don't think he's going to leave City yet. I don't think his contract is not over, first thing.
Okay,
Second thing,
no, Reef, his contract finishes this summer, 1. 2, his mum passed away this year from the coronavirus. 3, before that, his wife and his children had already moved back to Catalan anyway. That's 3. Carry on.
I understand what you're saying about the people. His mom, the most person close to him, is passed away. I understand that his wife and his children moved. I think he still have a passion and love for the game, and I think if things change with the COVID and people can travel frequently, very easy, very safe, I think he still maintains to be in England. I think so.
Okay.
He's still going to be the manager of
Man City.
All right. He's still going to be the manager of Manchester City.
Okay. Shiv, how say you to this question? Martin says, will Pep be the manager of Man City at the end of this season?
I think so. I don't think there's any other manager out there that Man City can get that'll be better than him. So they'll want to keep him. And, he's built the team in a certain way that is a Pep way. So I think they will want to keep him. Now, you never know what's inside a man's heart if he wants to go back to Catalan. I don't know enough about that. But if I'm talking about purely footballing terms, I don't think he goes anywhere. I think Man City will want to keep him.
All right.
I don't think he has a job elsewhere that would be better than Man City.
Fine. Let me throw this at you guys, okay? And throw this at you guys. One, Pep Guardiola has now become nice, and that's not good. Even in his interviews, he got a 1-1 draw, and he was comfortable with that. He got a Bielsa beat him, and he's high-fiving everybody. Pep hasn't got the fire. If for the league, he knew he had to win that game. If he won that game with a game in hand, they'll be in the top 6 with the game in hand, and that game that will put them back in the top 4. At this moment, it's not happening, and he's not yelling, shouting, tearing up his hair. He's just accepting it. What will be? Oh, did we just get beaten by Arteta? Oh well, that happens. The fire that's within him is not there. And with Pochettino sitting there ready to rock and roll. All right, that brings us to the next question, actually, man. Jordan from NYC asks, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be manager of Manchester United at the end of the season? Reef.
Okay, I give him if he's going to get to Christmas, good luck. If he's getting to Christmas, not the end of the season. If he's past Christmas and he's doing to Boxing Days, good luck. Okay. He's not going to make it. I'm telling you that.
All right. Shift, how say you to the same question from Jordan? Bearing in mind, the previous question was about Pep, and I mentioned Pochettino. Go ahead.
I agree with Yariv. I think there's already reports that the Man U board has reached out to Poch. I think if Ole survives till Christmas, will be a miracle, because Man U seems to be doing this. They seem to be play one bad game, play one good game, play one bad game, play one good game. That's not sustainable at a club like Man United. They're close to, they're not close to relegation, but they're closer to relegation than they're to the top 4 right now. So, I think he goes by Christmas.
All right. Okay, gentlemen, I totally disagree with both of you on both questions. Pep is going at the end of the season. Ole will still be here at the end of the season. And I'll give you my reasons for both of them right now. No, I'll give you my reason for both of them right now. Regarding Pep, I've told you the reason, yeah? He's lost his fire. He's lost his drive. If he doesn't make Champions League this year, you know what? It was a good run, the 3 years, the best they've ever had, etc. and so forth. All right, it was good. I'm back to New York City, or via Catalan to see how his family's doing, but he will take another sabbatical, look for something else. 2, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does what the board wants him to do. He tries to make top 4. He sits there with a smile on his face, and they sell all the products that they want to. Manchester United's current owners and management are not aiming to win the Premier League at all. They're not aiming to win the Premier League. They're not serious about it, and I'll tell you why. The last person who did anything good for Manchester United, believe it or not, was Jose Mourinho. Remember Mourinho left them? He left them with the FA Cup, Europa Cup, League Cup, second in the league. Since then, they spent over 270 million, and they've barely reached the cup final. Any cup final, let alone last season, just barely making the top 4. They have no intention, the management, of winning the Premier League. And doing that, it cannot work for anyone. Hence, if Pochettino, you don't have to go there. You have two other options, Poch. You have 1, PSG, which you played for, or 2, Man City, which will do anything to have you and let you restart the things up again, get the fire in these young people and get them going again. Anybody want to add something to that before we move on to the next question?
But yeah.
One second. Let me say something about that. This thing's recorded and is going to be approved for us for the future. First thing.
Of course.
Second thing, what you say about the manager of Man United is to hire a puppet. And you know what? With all due respect, I can be the puppet. You can be the puppet. I don't understand that. It literally is a puppet. Is do what you're doing for the club, for the manager, for the owner to be happy. That's not being a manager. That's not what Jose Mourinho doing. That's not what Pep Guardiola doing. That's manager manage the team and want to have the challenge to win and go forward. I do believe that the person that's sitting at home and waiting for someone to call him going to come and change the manager, the Man United manager, and it's going to happen before Christmas. And I'm putting my money on it. Me and Shiv, you put the money on it too?
No, yeah. Shiv ain't putting his money on it. Shiv, are you serious?
I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, I get your point that they want a puppet, but if the results are as bad, which I think they'll continue to be because that team has no cohesion or idea, I think Pep Ole is that bad a manager. He somehow did a miracle when Bruno Fernandes came, but Bruno's not having the same effect as he did for that like 8 weeks. And, if the results are bad, the board can't keep him on. If he's not competing.
Okay, who wants to be Manchester United manager?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, nobody would want that.
Right. Next question, gentlemen. This question comes from Simba, the Lion of Connecticut. Simba writes this, all right. When would Jordan Pickford or Harry Maguire get a red card for their actions on this pitch? Somebody tell me. Shift. Tell me.
Okay. Pickford is about to be benched. I think he's like, he didn't play the last 2 games, right?
He played the last game.
He played the last game.
Back,
he didn't play the one. He's going to be
rotated.
You
saw his move, right? He did this karate move on Maguire himself, and then up the field, Maguire went and done a karate move on what's the name? The Everton. Go ahead.
I just think these 2 players are just so. And I hate to judge players like that because my game's a little bit like that, physicality. But he's so Harry's so out of his element. He's going to start giving up more penalties, and he's going to get benched. But yes, they need to get red cards soon.
Reef?
I absolutely believe, every talented player or physical player or any kind of player, you will come to the end of the line. You will come to the game that the referee going to start to watch him more than usual because they know that he's something like that. And he's happening in a box and he's going to get a red straight card and it's going to be a PK. And we see Man U going 1-0 down. I'm telling you, it's just around the corner. Because, it's happened more and more. The FA started looking on it. The manager starting to discuss about. Not the manager, the referee starting to discuss about it, and that's the end of it. Eventually, you're going to get caught.
But the thing is that, do you give England captain a red card and England's #1 goalkeeper a red card? That's what it comes down to. Shift.
They should have gotten 2 red cards already this season.
Yes.
Each, but it'll eventually catch up. Like. It can't keep on going. Hopefully they improve, but I don't think it keeps going. I think it'll eventually catch up and they will get red cards.
I hope so, because these guys are like yobbo thugs walking about the place on the thing, getting away with the fact that they happen to be English international players, etc. And they're like, their shortcomings are high, but because the media has built them up, it seems as though they're almost untouchable, which cannot be the case. All right, gentlemen, let me give you, next one was from Sid. Sid, Red Swan in San Francisco, sent us this question. Biggest surprise, gentlemen, Southampton in the top 4 or Sheffield United in the bottom 4 this season? How say you to that, Reef? Which one is the biggest surprise?
It's. I mean, honestly, both of them is surprise for me personally because Sheffield United last season was very good and finished the season from the first season coming from the lower division in a top, what, they've been in a top 7 place to finish or something like that, or 8th place.
Yep.
It's in my point of view, for teams that come in from the lower division, they did very well. Compared to Southampton that scrapped the bottom and now playing in top 4 after like 8 games, it's a surprise too. Both of them surprised. Who will maintain where they are in the end of the season? I don't think Southampton going to finish top 4, but I do believe Sheffield United going to come back from last place to maybe top 10.
Okay, so, no, I don't.
In my point of view, in the end of the season, these two teams going to be very close to each other, about number 9 to 12. You know, in the middle of the 20.
Okay, Schiff, biggest surprise for you? Sid asks, Southampton in the top 4 or Sheffield United in the bottom 4 this season?
Sheffield United, hands down. I'm shocked. I mean, they can't get a win to save their lives. Now, sometimes teams go on a run. Like, I'll say this. I think Aston Villa is the biggest surprise in Southampton to me, right? Southampton, not going to try to say his name. He's a really good coach.
And Hasenhüttl.
He's a good coach, and they keep on going on runs. Even if you look at the last year, they'll have like 4 or 5 games. Well, they have great results, and then they'll come back to earth. And then 4 or 5 games, great results, come back to earth. And I expect them to come back to earth. I don't know what's going on at Sheffield. They were everyone's darling last year, and they haven't even gotten a victory yet. Sitting in the bottom 3, yeah, that's the biggest surprise to me.
The biggest surprise to me is Sheffield United sitting in the bottom 4. Southampton 4-2-2-2-2. Hasenhüttl's approach, taking the same strong pressing action that he had in Red Bull Salzburg. He brought it over here. It's taking them time to bed in and get it to work, but it's working. As you can see, what the pressure they put on Chelsea, it's working, and it'll continue to work. Am I surprised they're in the top 4? Yes, but then the top 4 is also bubbling. The one team that I'm surprised is in the bottom 4 is Sheffield United, who their system appear to have been exposed. The overlapping centre backs, etc., and so forth, has been exposed for what it is. One season wonder, with no backing of crowd support to create an intimidating concept. With the crowd out of it now, when we turn around and we say, oh, a rainy day in Stoke or a cold, blowy, windy day in Burnley doesn't mean diddly anymore. You either can play football, no crowd, no elements. It's not, if you want to train it, then treat it, because people are saying that, you know what, it feels sometimes like a training session. And you know what happens then? You get spanked, hence the crazy results that we've been having. All right, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I ask you that. When these two teams that you're talking, the Southampton and Sheffield United, how do you think they're going to finish the season, in the end of the season? Where they're going to be located?
Sheffield United relegated, Southampton in the top 10.
All right, I not see it like that, but okay. How about you, Shiv?
I agree with they are 1 point right now. 1 point. Maybe they'll escape. Maybe they'll find their form, but they've shown me nothing that they're going to find their form. I do think they'll escape.
Game.
Yes, I agree. I do think they'll escape, but I don't think they'll be in the top 10. I think they'll be like 17th.
Yeah, so they're getting relegated.
So they escape relegation.
18, 19,
17th is the last one. 17th is the last one. Okay. All right, listen. Okay. Sid, my man, I hope we answered your question for you. All right, we got Steve-O in Tottenham Hotspur's finest. Steve-O asks a question. Here it is, gentlemen. Who finishes higher this season, Chelsea or Spurs? Take it for the fact that we all agree that, okay, Chelsea was going to win the league. Put that aside. Right now, Chelsea or Spurs, who finishes higher? Reef.
Chelsea? Do I need to break it down why?
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. I absolutely believe that Chelsea is a strong team, especially with the change in the team of the keeper that give a lot of confidence for the defense. The midfielder, we see the striker that working very well. We have a very good variety of play that can cover so many aspects. If, for example, I take one person out from Spurs, if Harry Kane is injured, and this can happen this season very easily, everything breaking apart. Everything break apart for Spurs. They put in, like you're talking about, De Bruyne is a man that carried the team. That's what is Harry Kane. Harry Kane is the one that carried the team. So in my point of view, if Harry Kane is injured, Spurs is not going to be the same team. But what I see in Chelsea, we have other people to complete it and cover it and continue carry it through the season. So that's what I'm saying. I believe in Chelsea more than Spurs.
Right, thank you, sir. Schiff, how say you to the same question from Steve-O?
I agree with everything Yariv said. In addition to that, I think Spurs have Europa League, which Jose will take more seriously. And Jose just wants a trophy. So he'll take the League Cup seriously. He'll take Europa Cup seriously. He'll take FA Cup seriously. So I think with the team he has, so reliant on Sir Harry, I think it'll be too much to do the Thursday, Sunday things and also be ahead of Chelsea.
I'm going to, even though I've got Chelsea winning it, I'm going to take for our viewers, I'm going to take the opposite position from the two of you, and I'm going to give you points, give our viewers points and reasons why. At this current moment, if Kane does go down, this is the front line that they have in their bag. If Kane right now is Bale, Song, and Kane. Even if Kane goes down, Vinicius can come in as he's shown towards the latter thing. He can play it. All right. The one caveat.
There was a big behind over this shed, but as soon as I started to remove the
Sorry. Breathe.
The one caveat that differs from, regardless of a schedule, because we're still going to do the FA Cup, etc., and so forth. Granted, we're still in Champions League. The only difference which we have is that we don't have the League Cup. Lo and behold, who kicks us out? Tottenham, quite comprehensively. All right. They play Stoke next, so they're on their way. And I've said this to you guys again. If he does get inside, he wins the League Cup and gets in the top four, he's pulling the handbrake. But until then, the one scenario, the difference between ourselves and Tottenham is the Silver Fox. Far outsmarter, even if you believe he has lesser quality players than Chelsea at this moment, he can show you that he can finish higher than Chelsea with what he's got. How say you to that, Reef, before we move on?
All right, I don't believe it, and I want to see it happening. Until it's happening, I do not believe that.
All right, fair enough. Let me throw this at you guys. The next question we have here. Are Chelsea, I spelled that wrong, are Chelsea a more balanced team without Christian Pulisic? Schiff.
I don't think so, right? Like if you have Pulisic there, you can have Werner up top, or you can play Pulisic where Mount is playing, right? He could do both of those jobs, but I like Tammy up top, right, and Werner on the left. If you have Pulisic in there, who are you taking out? Are you taking out Tammy or are you taking out Werner?
I would not have Pulisic in there.
But for sake of argument, when you're saying it's more balanced team, are you thinking that?
I'm asking you, is Chelsea a more balanced team without Pulisic? I say, yes, they are a more balanced team without him. You are saying they are not?
I think it'll be a different kind of team, but I think there's still a well-balanced attacking force with him in there. He's too special a player to leave on the sidelines.
Okay. Reef, how say you to this? Are Chelsea a more balanced team without Christian Pulisic?
we can see just what happening right now. How many games he's not playing, how many games he's playing, and we can see what happened with Chelsea. So for the point of that, just look how many games he played through the season, how many games he didn't play, and see what's going on. He's very balanced team without him right now.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, like, I'm just see what's happening. I'm see what's on the pitch, what is going on, and Chelsea is very balanced right now.
Yep.
If he's coming in, if he's changed the balance of the team to be more balanced, I don't know. I don't know. In a matter of fact, how long time he's supposed to be injured and when he's coming back?
He's back. He's coming. He's back. He'll be back next. He'll be ready to go during this week. Apparently, he's not playing the US game, but he just sent out a tweet or text today that he's back. So so be it. We'll see. At this present moment, we're playing a nice 4-3-3. Free in midfield of whether with Kanté holding right there where he needs to hold, and in front of him, either having the following: Havertz, if he's available, or Mount, or if not, Kovacic, who can break the press up front. And I've said this from the off. If you go back to our podcast, I've said it from the off. Timo Werner only plays better when there is a traditional tall number 9 there taking the thrust. And it's not just that, Tammy Abraham is taking the thrust. He has come back to aid. This is how Firmino is working for Liverpool. Tammy Abraham has dropped back into the midfielders there to work that way, enabling Ziyech and Werner to take the lead up front, to point the horns of the buffalo up front in there. And in doing so, we have been successful. So theoretically, we are actually playing like Liverpool 4-4-3 has been playing the last 2 seasons, currently at this moment. You can bring Pulisic on as a substitute for Werner to rest them out, but you're not replacing, but making sure you're not putting him right there from the beginning at the expense of Timo Werner. Unless I get it, originally he was meant to play against Burnley. So it's Burnley, but you got an important game. You're going to go up against Liverpool, or you're going up against Man City, United, Spurs. You better go with that 4-4-3 you have now. How say you to that, Shift?
I mean, I think we've played a couple of good games with the 4-3-3. Let's experiment a little bit more. I think the 4-2. What was the formation he was playing with? The
4-2-3-1?
Yeah. We can still go with that formation, and then there's enough place for all of them.
And the midfield 2 will be who? Jorginho and Kanté? Come on!
Kanté and Havertz.
Havertz hasn't got, we'll be leaving him exposed that way. It doesn't work that way.
Kovacic.
You need Mount or Kovacic, especially you need Mount, who can do the shuttle. The old work that Loftus-Cheek used to do before he was injured, shuttling back and forth, box to box, is what Mount is doing right now. So for me, Chelsea are a more balanced team without Pulisic starting at this current moment. All right, Brian B-Dog from Linden Avenue sends this. Real Madrid beat Barca, beat Inter, but at the international break right now, they sit 4th in La Liga after a dreadful defeat against Valencia this last weekend, and they sit 4th in their group in Champions League. What is the future for Zidane? Reef.
You're talking about very sensitive points. I like Real Madrid.
I know. That's why I came to you first.
I cannot step on top of the head. It's very difficult for me to do that. But I think as much as the Premier League, I think we play now 8 games for the season. I think it's the same amount of games playing in La Liga, about 8 games, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This season built from 38 games. I'm not going to run to any conclusion after playing for 8 games. we didn't even go in for a quarter of the season. So if it's a 40 game, it's supposed to be 10 game a quarter. It's too long to count it out. I mean, like, it's 30 more games to play. A lot of can change. A lot of can happen on this 30 game. So I'm like, I don't, and usually after international break, play coming back and they have a different energy. They're playing different. Some of them playing worse. Some of the team doing less performance. So I'm too fast to call it and say anything negative about Real Madrid yet.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my observation.
All right, don't take your heart out of it. You're a pundit. You're going to take your heart out of it. All right, listen, Schiff, let me throw this to you. You and I know specifically that La Liga is almost how many games you can, the least amount of games you lose wins you La Liga, as opposed to the competition in the Premier League. La Liga is very different. You cannot afford to, in La Liga, mess around with the minions. You must make them into minions in order to get as many games as you can to win. So losing 4-1 against Valencia with 3 penalties, each of them given by your back four, how say you to Zidane at this moment?
So, by the way, that game was so strange. They were all 3 stone cold penalties and all given by a different person of the back four. And then Varane had an own goal. Right. Their defense, it just seems to be Calamity Jane right now.
But did we not see the same thing in the 5-2 Leicester defeat by Man City? Man City's defeat by Leicester with the whole back four giving away penalties. And then Kyle Walker doing it again now. That's what I'm saying. Pep is leaving. How say you to Zidane leaving?
So I think Zidane will get more of a grace period than any other manager Real Madrid would have had. For the simple reason he's gotten them 3 Champions League titles. Usually Real Madrid has no patience for anybody, but I think they will have a little bit of patience for him. If they don't qualify for the Champions League, he's out. If by Christmas they haven't improved their form, he's out. Then Pochettino might go there. He actually might want to go to Real Madrid. So that's another musical chairs. But like, again, who is out there? There's Pochettino, and who else could go to Madrid? Who's in waiting?
Well, we still got Allegri still hanging around somewhere.
Allegri.
There's a possibility that Tuchel will be out of work. Thomas Tuchel will be out of PSG.
There's the Sarri.
Yes.
All right, so there are a couple that could take the place. I think, again, Zidane will get more latitude than any other Real Madrid coach, but Real Madrid are not a patient club. So if he doesn't make Champions League or if the form doesn't improve by Christmas, he's out.
I concur. I agree. The Spanish has the term credit. He has enough credit in the bank. It was 9 seasons since Real Madrid won La Liga, and he won it for them last year. And before that, so in other words, he has been a winner of something major in all his time in Madrid. And so because of that, he has built credit where a lot have not been able to have that credit to be able to do that. But as B-Dog asked the question, we will say this, that at this present moment, Zidane has the credit, but that team is treading water. And unfortunately, parts of the boat are slowly dripping in water, left, right, and center. From Marcelo, Varane needs a rest. He needs a rest. Varane needs a get me out of here scenario.
But the backup Diaz is not very good. The third center back is not very good.
That's right. This guy played today. I saw Holland versus Spain, and he played the last 10 minutes. Ramos. He's just going around now doing like a farewell tour, collecting caps, collecting honors. He's beat Gigi Buffon inside. It's the last legs for this ship.
Yeah.
Casemiro didn't even play the weekend, which is a huge thing, because sometimes without him, not even sometimes without him, they're usually in trouble.
Yeah.
They're usually in trouble.
I mean, that squad is not very good. It's old. It's injury prone. I don't know. Like
All right,
Nacho.
guys. It is. It is what it is. Time is catching up with them. You agree, Schiff?
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
I'm just looking at the squad right now in the defense. Apart from Varane and Sergio Ramos, their backup is Militao, who is not very good. Nacho, not very good.
Yeah.
And a third guy I've never even heard of.
And Nacho has played even holding midfielder and so forth as well, and that then in place of Casemiro at times, and it's been hit or miss.
Yeah, and Marcelo is getting old too.
Yep.
Mendy is there to replace him, but like, they're back. I don't know what's happening to the defenders of the world. I'm not very impressed with a lot of them.
All right, last question here from David LA Red Devils. David's LA Red Devils says, all right, one transfer that needs to be made one transfer needs to be made more than any other transfer this January, gentlemen?
That question wasn't in the list. Oh, this is the one you sent later. Sorry. So the question is, what one transfer needs to happen? Is this in the entire league? I think Manchester United need to get a defender to have any hope of making a top four, of making anything happen for them this season. They need a defender. That back four is not good enough. So, yeah, I think that's
do you have a name?
Skriniar, how do you say his name, from Inter? He was on the market. That Spurs nearly bought him, but last minute they didn't feed the valuation that he had. I think he needs to go to Inter, to Man United.
Okay, Reef, how say you? What one transfer do you think they need to make? Anyone needs to make this January?
Definitely Chelsea not need to do anything about it, to be clear about it. Yeah, one of the transfer that I can see, I don't like to see, but, you know, like Chip says, a menu, in my point of view, to strengthen the defense somehow. I don't know anybody on the market for it, honestly. I don't follow that close, but menu, if they want to have any chances with any kind of manager going to come in, they have to, strengthen up the back line. That's one of the things, I think.
All right, let me answer David's question for him. All right, one transfer, a couple of ones, I'll give you four. One, Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil needs a transfer to leave. He needs to leave Arsenal bad. He needs to get a transfer in order to help renew his competitive. You could be training with the under 23s, etc., keep yourself fit, but you need the competitive sharpness, and he needs a transfer out this January if he can get one, just for his own peace of mind and everybody else. Another one, Rudiger.
I did not even know he's a squad of Arsenal.
Exactly, he's on under 23. Another one, Rudiger. Rudiger needs a transfer. Rudiger is not playing enough games to justify for him to remain on the German squad. We're in the international break right now. I didn't see the game, but I'm checking out. They didn't play. Yeah, they played today. I didn't check out the squad, but I know what I saw from the highlights of the team, he weren't in it. And if he's going to be ready for Euro 2021, which he wants, he needs to go. Because at this moment, our back four at Chelsea looks solid, and we have enough backup with Christensen and Fumi to cover the back four at this present moment, if we go back three. So Rudiger needs a transfer. Three, Ross Barkley. Ross Barkley needs to make that loan thing permanent. And there's a good time in January to do it. He's not coming back. He doesn't fit in. There's no space for him. He needs to make that permanently. So these are three transfers that needs to happen in January. And one more, Tchaikovsky. Tchaikovsky from Burnley. At this moment, Burnley are rooted at the bottom of the thing. He's a great defender. He should be, in order to be, again, we're all looking at Euro 2021, the squad. There's no reason why Tchaikovsky shouldn't be. He's a much accomplished defender than Harry Maguire. But because he plays for Burnley, and where Burnley are rooted, it does him no favors. If he can get a transfer just January to somewhere, even if it's a Southampton or Leicester City, because Leicester City, the Turkish player, Fusion, he's injured. If and they were using people like Wes Morgan to back him up and so forth. Tchaikovsky would be ideal guy right there to do it. So yeah, Ross Barkley also wants to make that claim for 2021. Go ahead, Chief.
I'll add two more to that list. Is Eriksen needs to get out of Inter, and I think Dean Henderson needs to get out of Man United if he hopes to make the English 2020 squad.
There you go. See, you had it all along. Reef, you have anything to add?
How about if you move this player the defender that you're talking about from Barnsley moving to Man U?
Yeah, well, that's possible.
I mean, Man U needed desperate for someone that to change things. I can see that happening. Like, if you look on the situation of Chelsea right now, and like I said before, I don't want to go into it, but the amount of the change Mendy as a one play given to the team is amazing. So, and I know he's a keeper, but backline can change things. I mean, Man U can do it exactly the same thing if a person that come into this line of defense to organize and manage it correctly, that can change completely the picture. But go figure if something happened there, because Man U don't have they have a puppet, and the puppet cannot say a lot, Man U, I'm sorry, John, you can say whatever you want to say, and I know you agree with me about it, but the puppet cannot do a lot if Man U not running the show how they want it. So even if he wanted this guy, they're not going to give it to him because this is how they wanted to run it. So it's kind of like so weird to see what's going on with this. And the person that running Man U that he cannot do nothing and just have to follow what the board say. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why Jose Mourinho don't like to stay there, because he want to be the alpha on the pitch. He want to be the alpha on the locker room. He want to be the alpha on every aspect of the game. And because they don't let him to do that, he says, screw you, I'm going to find a team that let me do what I wanted. So that's for me like Man U, like.
All right, guys. There you have it, folks. All right, folks. So you can see us on YouTube or A Hint of Blue Cheese. You can email us or your questions, as you can see, on bluecheese1905@yahoo.com. We'll answer all your questions, and we hope to see you all next week. Captain, say goodbye to the good folks.
Bye-bye, people.
All right. Reef, say goodbye to the good folks.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, folks. We'll see you all next week. Take care of yourself. As the good doctor says, wear masks and wash your hands. Peace out.